The one thing I will never forget, or I guess three things I will never forget, is how tough my son's first year of life really was. Oliver's story is one we've actually talked about quite a bit, I guess in our personal life and then in my professional life. But starting this video out, I want to speak to you more from Dad Tony instead of Dr. Tony, which we'll get to here before we're done. But Oliver struggled with croup, which is a nasty, barking, terrible sounding, difficult to breathe, gets worse at night, right when you're exhausted and emotional, sort of very common childhood, especially young kids' condition. Now, it makes sense that Oliver had croup for those times, 3 different times, his first winter, first year of life, because not only was he in that kind of age or that season of life where a kid's respiratory systems and immune systems are still developing and still growing, which leaves them more susceptible to things like ear infections, colds, and then growing into croup. But he also was born early, and he was born very traumatically and spent 6 weeks in the NICU with pulmonary, respiratory, cardiac, so everything right in this zone, if you will, challenges. So there was no surprise per se that Oliver ended up coming down with croup those 3 times that first early winter of his life when he was just this cute, big, blonde-haired, curly-haired little kiddo. But even though it made sense to us that he would have these challenges, man, does it suck when your child is sick. And there's something about that barking, whooping, sort of cough that comes with these kiddos. And I know croup is not whooping cough. That's a whole nother elevation of these challenges that thankfully we didn't get to because of these steps and the natural options that we deployed that I'll get to when I switch from Dad Tony to Dr. Tony here in a second. But I wanted to start the video off here first about croup, same as I started the article off when we wrote it on the PX Docs platform, to just let parents know that I 1000%, especially with this one, get it and we feel you. And now where that emotion, where that stress comes from when our child is struggling, obviously goes into action. Anytime we're really feeling a not good emotion, what we want is an immediate action or action steps to get out of it. And so here's the deal. The standard medical action steps for croup were not ones for us, for my wife and I, that we wanted to jump right into. We already knew he had to have all these antibiotics and all these medications and even had to have what's called ECMO surgery, heart-lung bypass. Oliver had to have so many medical interventions early on that we knew we were facing a significant amount of short and long-term side effects of that. The medicine is life-saving, especially when we're talking about getting rid of infections and taking inflammation down. Medicine is a miracle, but it's on my t-shirt, right? I know I'm going to talk about the chiropractic miracles all the time and the natural health miracles all the time, but I am completely exposed and have experienced with my own son the medical miracles. And so when it comes to croup and common colds and these respiratory illnesses, ear infections, we could kind of do the same video about all these different things that our little ones go through with the respiratory system. The truth is, the standard, most usually immediately applied medical treatment may actually, open up the airway and take inflammation down for 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, but it comes with a significant amount of long-term side effects and issues. And that was the last thing we wanted for Oliver. We wanted to build up his health, build up his resiliency, build up his adaptability and his nervous system and his immune system and his respiratory system that first year of life. And so we faced it, man. We faced a decision. 2 out of the 3 times he was so bad at night. We had our oldest daughter still at home. And again, I just kind of knew, being a pediatric chiropractor and all the times we had already been in that medical system, letting them save lives like they do, but then battling, honestly, I just can't say it any other way, fighting and advocating for our child to get adjusted, to get vitamin D, to get natural, easy, obvious health boosting things added to his system at the same time. It wasn't an or, we're not going to do medicine by doing chiropractic and natural health. This is, nothing we'll ever teach you here is an either or. It's an and scenario. And that's where parents miss out, because so many people on the medical side, when parents come in to the pediatrician action and say, hey, I would like to get my child adjusted. I would like to add some vitamins and some supplements and some natural health defenses to help my child get out of this or prevent it in the first place. Most pediatricians go, oh, no. They get protective. That is outdated. It needs to be outdated. The answer is C, A and B work better than A or B alone. And if you do B, because I'm running with this analogy here in these letters, B, chiropractic, neurology, natural health, maybe you don't have to do A at all, or definitely not as much. I feel like I've been yelling for a minute or two because the parent in me gets as excited as the provider in me to tell you when it comes to Croup and respiratory infections like ear infections, chronic colds, coughs, all this sort of stuff. There is so much you can do to help your child naturally without medications. So the first thing we obviously did, because Oliver cheated and he is the son of a trained, experienced, I guess even you could say leading pediatric chiropractor, is we adjusted him. I would adjust him multiple times, actually usually twice a day whenever he was facing these illnesses, especially Croup. And I obviously got to cheat. I was there with him at night. And so we would make neurologically focused, safe, gentle, easy chiropractic adjustments that do just that. Add ease into the nervous system. A chiropractic adjustment done to a child is completely different done to an adult with back pain or a sports injury. Neurology is similar, but it's completely different to what we're looking to do for a child. We're looking to add ease into their nervous system. We're looking to stimulate what's called the parasympathetic or parasympathetic system, vagus nerve, VAGUS. We have articles about it on our website. That is the rest, healing side of the nervous system. It allows the muscles of the airway and the lymphatics and the ears, nose, throat, really the muscles of the entire body to relax. When you're facing Croup or a respiratory infection that can't get down and get through and get out, the number one thing you want to do is relax the muscles and get them moving again. So the first thing a chiropractic adjustment does is it increases what my Iowa farmer brain would say to you is the plumbing and the drainage and the detoxification and elimination of the mucus, of the crud, of the inflammation and the infection. If you can't keep things moving, that's actually the number one defense mechanism God designed in our kids' bodies. Movement is life. Ears, nose, throat, lymphatics, airway, lungs, everything is supposed to drain into the gut. The gut is acidic. The gut has probiotics. The gut has the good guys to kill off the bad guys, and they get on out down the porcelain exit, right? At the end of the day. I know, I just went there. We talked about mucus, boogers, poop, all the things. Chiropractic adjustments helped Oliver help kids with Croup and colds to drain better. The other thing that comes with the neurologically focused chiropractic adjustment is you actually at the same time, when you're decreasing sympathetic fight or flight tone and increasing parasympathetic vagus nerve tone, you're actually helping the body modulate and tamp down inflammation. What we know about a child who is subluxated, which is our word for stuck in excessive sympathetic tone, is they're going to be more not only muscle constricted, but they're going to be more pro-inflammatory, and that's not at all what we want. The sympathetic system, if it's running over time, if it's subluxated, again, that's what we're adjusting and getting rid of with the adjustments. It increases mucus production. It increases saliva. So it increases stuff the body's got to get out of there, stuff that's going to get in the way and cause that stuck cough and cause that Croup and cause those challenges. So the first thing we got to do for Oliver was obviously make the chiropractic adjustments. On the list of what we do naturally to help get through these things in our family, with our patients, with all PX Docs practices, the adjustments are the foundation because that's how we're designed. Nervous system controls the immune system, the lymphatic system, the respiratory system, the digestive system, the muscular system. So by working on the nervous system first with a PX Doc or a neurologically focused pediatric chiropractor, you're getting all those benefits from just one thing. Now the second thing is we were able to do is we would take Oliver, I can specifically remember the room we're in that house where he was getting sick, and we would go into the bathroom, we would get a nice hot humid shower, we would have him in there, we would hold him in there, we would try and get the airways a little more loosened up, and then it was like early winter, so it wasn't so cold out just yet, which is probably why those seasonal changes plus teething were the reason he was having these colds, and that plus his start. And we would go outside and we would take 5 to 10 minutes with him outside where it's cooler air, have him all the way bundled up obviously, but expose his breathing to go to do that. We were constantly soothing. My wife was nursing. My wife was hanging with him and kept him in her arms at all times and slept with him to get his soothing, to get his relaxing to happen in that way. That's why she was the one who then, I think I got off this when I was on this, took took him into the emergency room 2 of those 3 times when he had croup in the middle of the night because it was so bad. And the first thing, they didn't even hardly examine him at all. Here's your nebulizer, here's your steroid, here's this. One of them was even going to give us an antibiotic, even though these are respiratory viral issues. I mean, it's crazy how much they would have just thrown the medical system at him, and he would have maybe slept a little better that night, but at what cost? More croup, more challenges, more allergies and asthma and autoimmune challenges down the road, because instead of his body doing the work, those drugs would have done the work. One time, one night, it got so bad that we convinced them, instead of doing the nebulizer, which I just never have been a fan of because it just has so many short and long-term side effects with those things, especially they were going to put epinephrine in it on that one and really juice his already juiced sympathetic nervous system. We had him give us an oral corticosteroid, give us that prescription instead. We gave him 1/2 of a dose that night, and it calmed him just enough to let him sleep for a few hours, build his strength back up, get to the other side, let the adjustments, let the vitamins, let the supplements, let everything. That's the other thing we did. We loaded, he was nursing, so we loaded up all sorts of natural defense to my wife, through to him. And you can do that for your kiddo, especially if they're older, if they're bottle fed, if they're taking in foods. Some of this stuff, especially little vitamin D droplets and those probiotics and those things, you can literally get right into the infant even themselves. And that's what we did. I'll finish the video with this. I've been dancing between Dad Tony and Dr. Tony the whole time, but there is a whole lot of struggle that comes with croup and ear infections and RSV and all these different respiratory illnesses. But there's a whole lot of options that we can do to help our child get through them naturally, get through them without drugs. Even if in the end they're going through it bad enough that you need to get your pediatrician, your medical practitioner on the dial, get them in there and get some medical support. Have a medication come into the system. I promise you this, by doing the other things in addition, you will have a much better response to medical intervention. You will need less medical intervention. You will probably see your child have a shorter course, less severity and a shorter duration of the illness. Those are the things parents report to us all the time. Their child not only long-term gets less of these challenges. Oliver didn't grow out of his respiratory issues. He grew into a more healthy, resilient, matured, adaptable nervous system, immune system, respiratory system. Because we gave him the chance, we gave him the support, we gave him the resources, the adjustments, the exposures, the overcoming that he did on these times on his own got him stronger. So he didn't grow into asthma, he didn't grow into allergies, he didn't grow into every time the season changes or he gets teething, he gets a chronic cold that goes to bronchitis and pneumonia. That would have been his path if we took the standard American medical system, I shouldn't even just say American, standard medical system of drugs first, natural stuff, not at all, or later. We go chiropractic first, natural second, medications last resort. And it works for our family and it works for millions of other families. And that's what this video, that's what this article, that's what pxdocs.com and all of our social media pages are for. To live drug-free natural hells, to hold off and stay away from as much illness as we possibly can with our kids and families. And then when it comes, because it does come and it's a part of life, that we can overcome it, adapt through it, and get stronger from it on the other side. That's the mission, that's the vision, heck, that's the science behind pxdocs.com, this article, this video, and everything we will ever put out to you. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you need anything, put them in the comment below. Please share this video on your social media pages. Text out the link, email the link to your homies. If you need anything at all, log on to one of our webinars, watch one of our events, and finally, if you need one of us in your corner and on your healthcare team, visit the directory, get a pxdocs.com, leading the healthcare team for your family, because neurology first, natural second, medications last resort. That's how PX Docs work, and our directory is filled with them all over the world. If you're local here to us, I'll see you at PWC. If not, I'll see you on the next video. God bless, be well, take care.